Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to do English paper piecing, one of the oldest forms of quilting which started here in the UK in the 18th century. First I'm going to show you the equipment that you will need, then I'm going to show you how to baste your fabric onto your paper hexagons, and then I'm going to show you how to join your hexagons. So first, the equipment. First you'll need some paper or card pieces like these. You can buy these in packs of 100 and you can use them again and again. Next, you'll need some thread for basting. Now, I just use cheap cotton. This is Coats cotton and it's quite cheap, and that's fine for basting. But when it comes to joining your hexagons together, use a better quality thread. I use Gutermann for that, and I usually use this grey colour because it goes with almost anything. Next, you'll need a small pair of scissors for cutting your thread. And of course, you'll need a needle. And then you're going to need some fabric, some offcuts of fabric. Don't go out and buy fabric especially for this. You can use offcuts of fabric. So that's everything we need. Now we need to get started with basting our hexagons.
Cut your fabric out 1/4 inch bigger than your paper template on all 6 sides. I've made a special template to do this, and I'll show you how to do this in another video, but you could just hold your paper template in the centre of your fabric and cut around the edges of it, leaving 1/4 inch around the edge. When you've drawn all the way around the edge, using a nice sharp pair of scissors, cut out your hexagon shape. Then with the right side of your fabric facing down towards your board, and place your paper piece on top, and if you like you can put a pin in the centre. To baste your fabric to your paper piece you can use any thread. Don't waste your expensive thread here because we're going to remove it later and throw it away. So thread your needle. If like me you need to use a needle threader, well that's okay, go ahead and use your needle threader, makes life a lot easier. And then tie a knot in the end. Fold down the first side where you're going to start sewing and thread your needle through. Then carry on sewing, doing quite large stitches. I only probably do 2 stitches per side. And when you get to the first corner, hold the side down that you've been working on and then fold the next side over it, and you'll end up with a nice corner. Do a small stitch in the corner just to hold your corners in place, and then carry on using your large stitches to the next corner and do exactly the same. Hold the side down you're working on and then fold the new side over it and do a small stitch and carry on with your larger stitch. Carry on around your hexagon until you have finished all 6 sides. And when you get to the end, there's no need to knot your thread. Just do a couple of smaller stitches at the end so it doesn't come undone, but no need to knot it. Just make it easier for you when you pull these stitches out, which you will do at the end. And that's your first finished hexagon.
Before we go on to the next step, could I please ask you, if you're enjoying this video and if you haven't already, could you please subscribe to my channel? Thank you. Let's get back to joining our pieces together.
Thread and knot your needle, and then choose the 2 hexagons you're going to join. I'm going to use the flowery piece from the middle, from the centre, and one of the polka dot ones. I'm just cutting off some loose threads here so they don't get caught in when I'm sewing. Then place the 2 pieces together with right sides facing, matching up the corners, and then either pin or clip your 2 pieces together. I like to just put a clover clip on the side, not the side I'm sewing, but to the right hand side of the part I will be sewing. Then start sewing right in the corner. Take a little bite from one piece and a little bite from the other piece in the corner, pull the thread through, and then take your needle and thread it through the loop you've made before pulling it tight. So this forms a little knot. There we go, a little knot in the corner, and then do another stitch in the same place just to secure that corner, because the corners are the places it may come undone eventually. And then take your next stitch very close to the first one, and again we're taking a little bit of fabric from each side, trying very hard not to catch the paper. Occasionally you may catch the paper, but try not to. Doing very small stitches close to each other, a little bit of fabric from each side, and then pull, and keep going like this all the way to the next corner. When you get to the corner, we're going to make a knot like we did at the beginning. When you get to your last stitch right in the corner, we're going to thread the needle through and make a loop, and then thread our needle through and pull it tight. No need to cut your thread here because we can carry on using this same thread for the next piece. Then choose the next piece you are going to add to your hexagons, and you'll be able to carry on sewing with the same piece of thread. So I've chosen my next piece, and I'm going to sew it onto the side here so that I can carry on using the same thread. I only knotted it once. Had I wanted to cut the thread off, I would have knotted it twice at the end. Either pin or clip your two pieces together. And again at the start we're going to do a knot. So we're going to take our first 2 bites of fabric right in the corner, pull our needle and then thread our needle through the loop, then pull tight. Do another stitch in that same spot just to secure it, and then we can carry on sewing all the way along, again taking a little bite from each side of the fabric to join the two together, and continue all the way along to the end, keeping your stitches close together, taking small bites and trying not to catch in that paper piece. If when you get to the end of a side you won't have enough thread to carry on the next side, then you'll need to finish off. To do this, you will need to do a double knot. So thread your needle through once, twice, and then pull tight. And then I like to bury my thread within the seam. So I thread my needle back through the seam and then I'll cut the end off. Now you need to join the other side of your hexagon to the centerpiece. So fold it in half and put a clip at the side to keep it in place while you're sewing. With your needle threaded and starting at the centre, go up through your seam allowance on one of your hexagons to bury your knot, and then we're going to take our first stitch, taking a bite from each side, pull to form a loop and then thread through the loop once and pull tight, and then as before we carry on stitching, taking a small bite from each side, keeping our stitches close together and trying not to catch in any of the paper template, and continue stitching all the way along to the end. And when you get to the end, you can either do a double knot or a single knot depending on whether you're going to add another piece to whatever it is you are making. But that's all I'm going to do today so far. I'm going to stop here because I think that's enough for one video.